Welcome to another beautiful episode of The Popcorn King! So today we are going to be doing a little review of a little British film called The End We Start From. This is a movie which is directed by Mahalia Bello, written by Alice Birch. So it's got a great cast. Let's get into it. It's got Jodie Comer, Benedict Cumberbatch, Joel Fry. There's a bunch of familiar sort of British actors in this film. It's a really, really good film. I very much enjoyed it. Gina McKee is another person in this film. Catherine Waterston. What's the film about? So this is a film about a lady who is 9 months pregnant and gives birth just when a huge flood hits the United Kingdom. It seems to wreak havoc on London, wreak havoc on all the big cities, and it's really just about how society very quickly can collapse in these sort of situations. It's kind of got a Children of Men vibe in it, in terms of it's cold, it's wet, it's in the hills of England. There seems to be a lot of anarchy going on as society collapses. One of the things about the movie which is really beautifully done, I would say, by the director, is the sense of drowning. So obviously you've got the literal sense. The water keeps rising and rising. The rain seems to never end. But it's a really great metaphor for the lead character, Jodie Comer, being in, like, drowning in this bad situation. Like, it's suffocatingly bad. You know, as the water rises, as does just the tension around England, around the UK. Like, people who you thought you might be able to trust at one point, you can't really trust anymore. And it's just really, really great metaphor. That real sense of, like, it's getting too much. I'm drowning under the situation. I'm suffocating under these circumstances. The water rising really sort of emulates how you feel throughout this film as your sort of tension builds and builds. Jodie Comer is just a fantastic actress. Like, Jesus, is there anything she can't do? It's a subtle performance. You know, it's not screaming and crying necessarily, but it's a woman looking after a newborn baby, and like the strength a woman can have in these sort of situations. And what would a new young mother really do in this kind of situation, in the circumstances, especially if they're left on their own? What can they do? It's one of those things that you really have to give it up for women, because, and I'm not saying all women, I'm just saying the majority of women are weaker than the majority of men. There is some crossover there, but the majority are weaker than the majority of men. And if you're in a world where it's dog eat dog suddenly, like, what is that for a woman? Like, I'll never really be able to understand that. I'm a relatively big bloke, you know, like, I don't often feel smaller than anyone else. A lot of women will be walking around in those sort of situations, looking around and being like, well, 50% of the people here are stronger than me. And like, that's the plight of women, I guess. And it's a real shame that it is that way, that is the case. But it's really beautifully shown in this movie, especially through Jodie Comer's acting. Her wandering eyes just watching as society collapses, like, what should I do? What can I do? I've got a baby. What can I do? Who can I trust? I have to trust some men, surely. And I would really give this film a high recommendation. I think it's very, very good. I really just don't want to be in any kind of natural disaster. Not because I'm scared of the natural disaster, but because I'm mainly just scared of people. Like, I wouldn't mind being in a natural disaster if it's just me. That just sounds like a fun sort of survival game. But it's other people, like, please don't kill me. We're already fighting a flood. We're already fighting volcanoes. Why do you have to kill me as well?